was a Thursday morning around 9 a.m. They told me, okay, you're HIV positive. I was only 19. And at the age of 19, you can't cope with many things. It was like my world, how am I supposed to do? I'm just coming through school. I'm about to have the advanced level. How will I cope? I'll have no friends. I cannot even eat with people, because back then we knew if you're HIV positive, you eat in the same place with somebody, you get the virus. So I could imagine me being discriminated upon, because that's what many HIV people suffered back then. Stigma was high. It was terrible when they know you're HIV positive. It's like you're an outcast. People talk about you with their mouths. I remember I participated with my friends to talk about others we knew were HIV positive, and the comments we made, they were not very positive. So I was seeing myself in that position. All I wish was to be dead, but you can't wish yourself dead, and I wasn't courageous enough to take my own life. I knew I would never get married. I can never get married because there'll be no man willing to get married to me, and so it means I won't have any child. From 2007 till later part after 2010, I was trying to have a baby. I tried, but it was a little difficult. Not that I had difficulties in conceiving, not that I did not want the baby. I always wanted to have one, but I still had that fear that was always there. That what if my baby comes out positive? What? I wouldn't want to subject the child to a life of suffering. So that fear was there. So every time I would pull back, every time I would pray. And it went on until finally I met a few friends in a hospital. I went to a hospital. These people, they were great. They talked to me. They told me how it was possible. I shouldn't bother. It's normal to live a normal life. I figured out, I said, yes, I've been diagnosed since 2000, because after that I used to go for I will go for tests. Anywhere I hear they are doing free testing, I will go, just to be sure. Maybe there was a mistake the first time, maybe it can change. So over and over, I went one day to one hospital. The woman asked me, why am I doing the test? I said, I'm just doing it. I know I'm positive. I'm just doing it for the sake of doing it. She said, okay, come, we'll do it if you want. But when she did the test, before she gave me the results, she talked to me, and I felt this warmth. She had a lot of love in her words. She was kind. She was a social worker working with youth, so she had a lot of examples. She cited many people. She said, I'm a social worker. Since you're here, you can see the number of children, young people that come in and go out. Then I was pretty young, so I could identify with most of them. She said, half of these people, in the midst, you can't tell who is positive and who is not. So you're not alone in this. It's not something that is peculiar to you, so don't feel sad. And you can live a normal life. Why? Because if you know your status, once you want to get pregnant, you have to prepare. You tell your partner, you guys work towards it. Once the baby is there, you begin antenatal clinic as early as possible. Even once you suspect that you're pregnant, you start your antenatal. You go to the hospital. If they confirm you're pregnant, you begin your antenatal as early as 3 weeks or just the first month. From that day, if they know you're HIV positive, they'll give you drugs. They'll give you drugs that you take every day throughout your pregnancy. And that drug will enable you, she told me that clearly, that drug will make sure that you cannot contaminate the baby while the baby is in your womb. I have 2 babies. Thank God, all of them are negative. And they've been tested like 5 times. Different after 3 months, after 3 months, after 3 months, and the test shows negative. So both children are healthy and fine. They're doing okay.
A story like this is now very recurrent in Cameroon. Women infected with HIV can have as many children as they desire. How is that possible? Medical research aimed at increasing prevention of mother-to-child transmission of HIV have improved in the last couple of years. The trick is, pregnant women must go for antenatal care within the first semester of their pregnancy, or better still, from the moment they know they are pregnant.
Without any intervention at all, the risk of an HIV-infected woman who is pregnant of passing the virus to her baby, it varies from 15-20% to 35-40%. But with intervention, this risk can be reduced practically to close to 0. That means less than 2%. So which are these interventions? At community level, first of all, we need to encourage to see that all pregnant women are coming to the health facility to attend antenatal care, such that in the health facility then they can be offered an opportunity to be screened for HIV. And once they are screened for HIV, then medication can be given as soon as they are tested positive during pregnancy, and then continue the medicine during labor and after delivery throughout the breastfeeding period and even for life, so that they can remain healthy and take care of their children. For a woman who was not known to be infected, as soon as she's diagnosed HIV positive, immediately she should go on treatment. So since it is encouraged for pregnant women to attend antenatal clinic once they discover that they are pregnant, as early as at 14 weeks of pregnancy. If they are diagnosed HIV positive, then immediately they should go on medication.
What we give out to the mother is, they call it tele. It's a word that is used only in Cameroon. It's a common word, so that it's a code that is given to, it's a highly active antiretroviral treatment. That there are three tablets combined together that the woman takes once every night when she's about to go to bed. She takes it every day.
For this 30-year-old lady infected with HIV, the journey to having 2 healthy and uninfected baby girls was a long one. As a 19-year-old young lady, learning about her status was a blow, as it first meant that all dreams of one day building a family of her own will never happen.
It feels like yesterday, but it's been already 10 years. I was diagnosed. I went for a voluntary screening. It's not like I was sick or had any problems. Because there was talk all over the place, on radio, on TV, in school, they talked about the necessity to do frequent testing. So I decided one day, I heard there was a free screening campaign somewhere. I decided to go there to test myself. When I got there, that was some year 2007, at the end, almost the last part of the year. So when I got there, I got tested. There was a lot of counseling before the test. After the test, they gave results to my friends who went together. They all left, and they said mine wasn't ready. It was a little suspicious though, but I went home still. And then the next day I came. I was told, if I'm positive, what will I do? Right then, I did not have an immediate answer because it was something dreadful. The whole idea of being HIV positive was out of the question. So I told the woman, like, for a split second, you can't tell somebody you want to kill yourself because they'll hold you down. But I said, God, let it not be the case. But unfortunately, it was. I was tested positive. The lady told me I was positive, and that means I have to be very careful with everything I do around me, the people, and so on and so forth. So for many days, I cried and cried and cried. But after a while, I discovered crying. Every day I cry, I'll go and check the results. See if it's positive. After some days, I'll keep it, pray a little, go check, see positive. So I discovered this thing is not going to change. As it's on that paper, that's how it's supposed to remain in my blood. And gradually, I began saying, okay, now I've seen, I've heard, I listened to everything. I started listening to radio programs on HIV, how to cope with it, TV shows, little documentaries. I remember back then in school, they had shared some books in which they showed images of people in Tanzania, a village all wiped out of HIV, and in little comments, anything about HIV/AIDS I was reading, just to know how to cope.
Today, there is a lot of information on HIV. Research has shown that more people die of cancer, diabetes, accidents than of HIV/AIDS. Once diagnosed, patients must be placed on an antiretroviral therapy and should be encouraged to live a healthy lifestyle in order not to be reinfected. For those wishing to one day have children, the antiretroviral therapy ensures that the HIV viral load in the body remains low enough to protect the fetus.
The medication that are available, we call them antiretrovirals drug. These are drugs that fight And we used to fight the virus, so they stop the replication of the virus in somebody who is infected. There is a combination of drugs. There is a formulation which combines 3 molecules in one tablet that we commonly call in Cameroon tele. So that is a drug that we give not only to pregnant women, but it is the preferred drug that we give even to any person who is infected with HIV as the preferred first line molecule or regimen.
Following treatment meticulously prevents transmission before, during, and after pregnancy. In most health centers, there are trained educators and nurses specialized in the prevention of mother-to-child transmission of HIV. Once a pregnant lady is diagnosed HIV positive, their role is to follow up the mother during her pregnancy, at delivery, and after the child is born.
Once a woman is positive and she's not yet pregnant and she's hoping that tomorrow she will want to have children, we still put her on treatment, but we talk with her. Before you get pregnant, it's good that you check your viral load. It's good that you check your CD4. That's to see how the quantity of the virus is in your body and to see the level of your immune system. Because if you get pregnant, that your viral load is very high and your immune system is very low, the risk of passing the infection to the child is very high.
For these trained nurses, the task is to ensure that the baby is born free of the virus.
When we see a woman and we start following from when she starts her clinic, we follow her up. When we follow her up, we give her the drugs. Then we talk to her about how the infection can be transmitted to her baby. Normally, it can pass when she's pregnant. It can pass during delivery. It can pass when she's breastfeeding. But now, with the drugs, we hope and we are really sure that the risk of transmission is reduced. When the woman is about 8 months, we always offer to her a nevirapine syrup. That's a treatment that they will give to the baby immediately the baby is out, and they will give the treatment to you. The baby will be 6 weeks, and we'll keep following up from there. And we always talk with the women to be quite sure and to really know where they want to go and put to birth. If you are going to put to birth, you have to put to birth in a very good and well-equipped hospital with good medical personnel in place that really know what to do if a woman is positive. They will always explain to her what is expected to be done, so that if even the health provider is not meeting her needs, she will know what to tell the woman. So when she goes to deliver, she does not need to take any other medication. She just needs to continue on her tele that she is taking. Then once the baby is delivered, she gives the nevirapine syrup immediately to the baby. Once the child is 6 weeks, the child is brought back to the hospital. They will do a 6 weeks test where blood sample is collected from the child to send to a reference lab to check if the child is infected or not. Because as we said earlier, it can pass during pregnancy, during breastfeeding, and during delivery. So we want to check the first 2 stages, pregnancy and delivery. Was the child negative? If the child is negative, we still continue with the mother. At that level, the mother stops taking the nevirapine and only be on Cotrim, or normally called Bactrim. Bactrim is just a drug that prevents infection. It makes the child not to be having frequent, maybe catarrh, cough, other skin infections. It just prevents simple infection from the child.
Peer educators have made a tremendous effort to sensitize men to attend ANC with their partners. The role of the male partner is to provide the necessary psychological support the HIV-infected woman needs.
Once we see a woman that is positive, anybody's result is a confidential item. You have to keep it confidential. But we'll always work with them to see how they can tell their husbands, their partners, that they are positive and that they are on treatment. Because at times they feel that if they tell their partners that they are positive, maybe the marriage will end, or the man will suspect that they're the ones that brought the infection. So normally we'll work with them. Most of them will go and bring their partners, and at times we just do the test again, just do it again, and then we'll see how the husband is. Then we'll move on. But of recent, we have had many women that are positive but their husbands are negative. So we also put them on treatment, as we have said, and work with them and see how they can still live together, how they can still have sexual relationship without the other partner contracting it.
For those single women who are infected, extra precaution is needed on her journey to motherhood. During courtship, she needs to exercise secondary prevention, protect her partner, and talk with her health counselor on her intentions.
Normally, when you're positive, you still have to do secondary prevention. You still have to prevent, even though having the infection. There are people that have HIV type 1 or type 2. At times, you go out with your type 1 and you go and contract type 2. And their treatment will become a bit complicated. Or you go out and contract other infections like syphilis, like hepatitis. It still makes your treatment to be very complicated, and at times it will not really be successful. So as a woman that is not yet married, we always emphasize on abstinence. The woman is not supposed to go out with another person to get pregnant, but if it is that she must do that, then she will have to work with the partner that she wants to have the child with.
Although a lot of information is now available on the prevention of mother-to-child transmission of HIV, there are still babies born with HIV because the mothers don't attend ANC.
Since 2015 up to date, we have not had a woman that has been on tele and the woman is positive. But we have had children that are positive. Maybe their parents did not go for ANC early enough, or their parents did not attend, the mother did not attend ANC at all, or she attended ANC and were giving drugs and she did not take the drugs, or she took the drugs when she gave birth and they told her that at 6 weeks the baby was negative. She stopped taking the drugs and was still breastfeeding the baby. So when we get a woman that is positive and she's afraid that she can pass the infection to the baby, we always work with her. We do a lot of post-test counseling in which we tell her how her system works, that HIV is a virus. HIV is not AIDS. When you have HIV, it just means you have the germ in you, you have the virus in you. That if you control very much, if you control it very well by taking your medications, the risk of transmission to the baby will be reduced. But remember, the risk is never zero. But the secret of having a negative baby is taking your medications.
With the help of the Ministry of Public Health and its partners, antiretroviral drugs are now made available and affordable in all health districts in Cameroon. Any woman aware of her HIV status can go to the nearest health center to be treated.
The national program, the Ministry of Health and the government of Cameroon has made it for many years that treatment for HIV for everybody is free of charge and is made available at the national level through the national pharmacy that supply the region to the regional stores and then from the regional stores to the various facilities. Even to far off communities, the drugs are available.
New medical research on HIV has gone way beyond finding new and improved antiretroviral drugs that help lead a long and healthy life.
The most recent recommendation is, as I said earlier, is now to give to any pregnant woman who is infected the medication even before she becomes pregnant, especially if she is in the age of childbearing age. If a woman is infected and she's of childbearing age, since in the future she may want to have children, then she needs to start treatment as soon as possible. Any woman who is not infected and is of childbearing, in fact all women who are not infected, all measures should be taken at individual level and at community level to see that those who are not infected remain uninfected, because if they are not infected, then they will not pass the infection to their children.
In the last couple of years, scientific research aimed at shedding light on the importance of breastfeeding have encouraged HIV-positive mothers to only breastfeed if they want to.
Natural breastfeeding is the best. It's good. It's very protective for the child. When a child takes breast milk, the child is protected from many other infections that the mother has developed immunity for. And normally, if a woman is positive and she wants to do breastfeeding, she has to do it for the next 6 months. No water, no food, no pumping of the baby. You give only the breast milk. Even if a woman consults and is given tablets to give to the baby, she has to crush the tablets and put the breast milk inside and mix and give to the baby. That is what is expected from every mother, whether you are positive or you are negative. You breastfeed your baby for the next 6 months, no water, no food. And for a positive mother, you can breastfeed your child up to 1 year without any problem, as long as the child is negative. Then up to 2 years, if in case the child becomes positive, you have to breastfeed your baby up to 2 years so that the baby can really gain immunity to fight other small infections around.
Throughout the period of breastfeeding, taking this medication consistently make breastfeeding safer. And this has come to solve this issue of controversy where some women will not want to breastfeed because they know that they are infected, and in the community they receive messages here and saying things that are not correct. But what I wish to say is that studies have shown that women who have not breastfed their children, they end up with children who suffer and died of malnutrition, because breast milk is very necessary to a child, especially during the first 6 months of life. But the only problem is that once a woman starts breastfeeding, then she should only breastfeeding for the first 6 months of life. If the woman has opted not to breastfeed because she's worried of the risk, even though the risk is reduced because of the treatment, then she should replace breastfeeding with artificial milk. Then she should never mix breast milk and artificial milk for the first 6 months of life.
The statistics are encouraging. Though the road to an HIV-free generation remains long, the first and important step to prevent mother-to-child transmission depends on an early diagnosis of the HIV status, attending regular ANC, and following treatment diligently.